Welcome to the Inspiring Tech Leaders podcast with me, Dave Roberts. This is the podcast that talks with tech leaders from across the industry, exploring their insights, sharing their experiences, and offering valuable advice to technology professionals. The podcast also explores technology innovations and the evolving tech landscape, providing listeners with actionable guidance and inspiration. Today, I'm going to talk about what is happening to SaaS and the technology markets. Commentators have begun calling it the SaaS Apocalypse, a phrase designed to provoke and suggest something fundamental is breaking inside the software economy. Over the past few weeks, software as a service companies have seen significant sell-offs in public markets. Valuations that once appeared resilient have been marked down sharply. Some companies have lost 20% or more of their market capitalization in a matter of days. Investors who previously prized the predictability of recurring revenue are suddenly questioning whether that predictability still holds in an era defined by artificial intelligence. The concern is simple in concept, but profound in implication. If AI agents can perform the work previously carried out by multiple employees, then businesses may require fewer software seats. If software pricing is based on per-user subscriptions, and the number of users falls, then revenue growth slows. If revenue growth slows, then the premium valuations that defined the SaaS era begin to look fragile. That chain of logic has triggered what some analysts and commentators are calling a structural repricing of the entire sector. Several financial outlets have documented the scale of this shift and highlighted how private equity investors and credit managers have begun reassessing their exposure to software assets amid fears that AI could erode traditional business models. At the same time, there has been media coverage on public market reactions and the pushback from major technology leaders, particularly the leadership of Amazon Web Services. At the heart of this narrative is a wider anxiety about the speed of AI progress. Tools that can autonomously generate code, draft documents, analyze data, and even orchestrate workflows are no longer speculative. They are operational. Organizations are actively piloting them. Boards are asking how many manual processes can be automated. Finance teams are examining cost structures. Procurement departments are scrutinizing license renewals. There are converging forces placing pressure on the traditional SaaS model. These forces include fewer human users per workflow, new AI native challenges entering the market, and a shift in pricing from access to value. For more than a decade, enterprise software benefited from a powerful economic formula. Recurring subscriptions created predictable cash flow. Net revenue retention rewarded upselling. Cloud delivery reduced deployment friction. Investors rewarded scale and growth with generous multiples. That model fueled extraordinary wealth creation and rapid innovation. However, AI introduces a new variable. Could AI replace the need for expensive user interfaces as software becomes an orchestration layer for AI agents rather than a tool used directly by humans? Does pricing need to shift from per user to per task, per transaction, or per outcome? These questions are being debated in boardrooms and investment committees right now. Private equity firms that have built portfolios of mid-market software companies are commissioning reviews to understand AI exposure. Credit funds that financed leveraged buyouts in the software space are stress testing revenue forecasts under different automation scenarios. The fear is not immediate collapse, but gradual erosion. Yet, while markets have reacted sharply, not everyone accepts the apocalypse framing. In fact, there has been strong pushback from leaders within the technology ecosystem. The chief executive officer of Amazon Web Services addressed these concerns publicly and described much of the anxiety as overstated. His view is that AI will expand overall technology spending rather than reduce it. According to this perspective, AI requires infrastructure, compute capacity, data storage, and integration layers. That means more demand for cloud platforms, not less. It is worth pausing on this point. The introduction of a transformative technology does not automatically destroy existing markets. Sometimes it reshapes them. When cloud computing emerged, it did not eliminate enterprise software, it changed delivery models. When mobile computing accelerated, it did not erase desktop software overnight. It expanded the surface area of digital engagement. The key question is whether AI is a complement or a substitute. If AI tools are layered on top of existing SaaS platforms, enhancing productivity and embedding intelligence into workflows, then the incumbents may strengthen their positions. If, however, AI platforms abstract away the need for specific applications and enable users to complete tasks without engaging traditional software interfaces, then disruption becomes more profound. Market sentiment tends to swing rapidly between extremes. In boom periods, growth narratives dominate and risks are discounted. In periods of uncertainty, risks are amplified and growth potential is questioned. The current sell-off appears to reflect a shift in narrative rather than a collapse in earnings. Many software companies continue to report solid revenue growth. Customer churn rates have not spiked dramatically. Cash generation remains healthy in established firms, so why the severity of the reaction? Part of the answer lies in valuation sensitivity. SaaS stocks have historically traded at premiums because of expected long-term growth. When expectations shift even modestly, valuation multiples can compress quickly. A small downward revision in long-term growth assumptions can translate into a significant change in share price. Markets are forward-looking. They reprice on anticipation. Another dimension is psychological. The speed at which AI capabilities have improved has unsettled investors. Breakthroughs in large language models, autonomous agents, and generative systems have created a sense that change is accelerating beyond traditional planning cycles. When uncertainty increases, capital often retreats to perceived safety. Software, once seen as a defensive growth sector, is now being reassessed under a different lens. However, if we step back from the headlines, a more nuanced picture emerges. AI itself requires software. It requires orchestration platforms, data pipelines, governance tools, and security layers. Enterprises will not simply abandon structured systems in favor of unregulated AI tools. In fact, many organizations are seeking integrated solutions that embed AI responsibly within existing platforms. This creates an opportunity for established SaaS vendors. Those with strong customer relationships, domain expertise, and access to proprietary data may be well positioned to integrate AI in ways that newer entrants cannot easily replicate. The question becomes not whether SaaS survives, but which SaaS providers adapt effectively. Pricing models will likely evolve. Per-user subscriptions may gradually be complemented by usage-based pricing, performance-based models, or value-based contracts. Software may increasingly be priced according to outcomes delivered rather than seats provisioned. That transition will not be seamless, and it will create winners and losers, but evolution does not equal extinction. For private markets, the adjustment may be particularly interesting. Lower public market valuations can create acquisition opportunities. Firms with capital and conviction may view the current sell-off as a chance to acquire quality assets at more reasonable prices. At the same time, due diligence processes will intensify around AI strategy and defensibility. For technology leaders listening to this podcast, there are practical steps that can be taken. First, narrative awareness matters. Boards and investors are consuming the same headlines. They will ask whether your organization is exposed to seat compression or pricing disruption. You need a clear answer. Second, experimentation is essential. Integrating AI capabilities into products and internal workflows is no longer optional. It is a strategic necessity. Third, communication is critical. Articulate how AI enhances your value proposition rather than threatens it. The term SaaS Apocalypse is dramatic. It captures attention. But history suggests that technological transitions are rarely absolute. They are iterative. They create friction, uncertainty, and volatility, but they also generate innovation and renewal. We may be witnessing the end of the first era of SaaS, the era defined by rapid cloud adoption and seat-based hypergrowth. What follows could be a second era characterized by intelligent automation, outcome-driven pricing, and deeper integration between human and machine workflows. In that context, the sell-off may represent not an ending, but a recalibration. Markets are reassessing risk. Investors are demanding clearer AI strategies. Companies are being forced to articulate how they will thrive in a world where software is not merely a tool, but an intelligent collaborator. For leaders, this is a moment to think strategically rather than react emotionally. Fear-driven decisions rarely produce durable outcomes. Analytical clarity does. Examine your revenue model. Understand where AI enhances productivity for your customers. Identify where it could cannibalize existing revenue streams. Then design proactively. The conversation around the SaaS apocalypse is ultimately a conversation about adaptation. The technology sector has reinvented itself repeatedly over the past 3 decades, from on-premises software to cloud, from desktop to mobile, from manual workflows to automation. Each shift disrupted incumbents who failed to respond, but it also empowered those who leaned in. As we close today's episode, I encourage you to resist binary thinking. This is not a story of survival versus extinction. It is a story of transformation. Artificial intelligence will reshape enterprise software. It will alter economics. It will compress some revenue lines and expand others. It will challenge complacency, but software is not disappearing. It is evolving. Well, that is all for today. Thanks for tuning in to the Inspiring Tech Leaders podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your network. You can find more insights, show notes, and resources at www.inspiringtechleaders.com. Head over to the social media channels. You can find Inspiring Tech Leaders on X, Instagram, Inspo, and TikTok. And let me know your thoughts on the future of SaaS. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep pushing the boundaries of what is possible in tech.